So it's been a while since I've told a story on this channel about some wild shit I've gotten myself into, and it's been a long time since I've ever told a story about something I've done. I know on this channel we normally talk about a lot of shit that happens in the world, or a lot of shit that, somebody in my life had done wrong. I don't think I've ever told a story about the things that I have done wrong before, because let me tell you, as a kid, I was not a saint. I was an insane piece of shit, if that title suggests anything. Let me tell you, your mother doesn't try to kill you for no reason, alright? It happens very gradually. I'm not saying that murder is okay. I actually very much do not condone murder, but if I'm being completely honest, some of the stuff she did to me was very reasonable, especially earlier on before she completely lost her mind. A lot of the stuff she did was very reasonable. And, that kind of leads into the story that I am going to tell today about how I beat the shit out of my high school principal. That's not clickbait. Well, not my high school principal, but my elementary school principal, right? And that is not clickbait. I beat the shit out of the school principal in first grade. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. I really couldn't tell you, alright? I got myself into some crazy shit, like I said. But yeah, that's gonna be the story I'm telling today, finally get back to our roots a little bit after a lot of experimentation. So, yeah, this story takes place back in 2012, when I was 6 years old. Like I said, I was in first grade. And now, obviously, I don't just start beating the shit out of my principal out of nowhere. It's a gradual thing, as I said before. And, this kind of starts off back when I was, in, I'd say, the second half of the year. Now, in the second half of the year, I had been moved to homeschooling because I had been, well, frankly, a bad kid. There's a lot of stories I could tell about this year in school because it was really a bit of a nexus point in my life, but the main takeaway you need to know is that I was being homeschooled at the moment, and I was being homeschooled because I had gotten a year of detention. Don't ask me how. I quite literally had been in detention the whole year. I didn't even know it was possible to get that much detention, but, I managed to get it somehow, and I was being homeschooled because they physically could not have me in school anymore. Now, again, how you get kicked out of school in first grade, don't ask me how. I was a fucking demon back then, and I really do not look upon that version of myself very fondly. But I was being homeschooled. And I'm gonna be honest, being homeschooled kinda sucked at the time. This was back before, I think this was back before really the iPhone took off even. So, smartphones were just becoming a thing. The internet wasn't really all that advanced back then. So, doing homeschooling online was, really fucking awful. The internet was slow, the web pages were clunky. I mean, they still are clunky today. And it was really not fun. And I would be using my grandmother's really shitty Windows 7 Office PC, which she still has, by the way. And I was going to be using that PC to do a whole bunch of homework at school. And I'm gonna be honest, that shit sucked, okay? I really did not like it. I don't remember the exact specifics of what happened at that homeschooling because, again, I was 6 years old and this was a very long time ago. But as far as I can remember, there was, this weird, doodle page history garbage that I really didn't like, and whatever the thing was up with that history, I don't know, but I really want to go back to school. And now, listen, there is nothing wrong with being homeschooled. I feel like a lot of people do like being homeschooled. A lot of people, it's very beneficial. For a lot of people, it's successful. But listen, my relationship with homeschool is really bad. I actually remember one time in my life when I was, homeschooled, and I completely bombed all of my grades because of that. Quite literally, that's the reason why I graduated in 12th grade instead of 11th grade. It is because I got homeschooled during COVID, and it was genuinely some of the worst bullshit I had ever had to go through. But anyways, I wanted to go back to school, right? And I was doing very well on my work at home. So the teachers decided that it would be a good idea to try to start transitioning me back into school. So me and my mother, we go down to the elementary school at the time, and we have a meeting. We're discussing all kinds of options going forward and said, well, Trilad is doing well, so we can start transitioning him back into school. We're going to start with 1 day a week on Monday, and we're going to go Monday, Wednesday, and then we're going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then hopefully the goal is we can get him back to school full time, so that way he does not have to, be homeschooled. And I was really stoked about this because, again, I really did not like the homeschooling. I don't know what it was about it, but it just was not vibing with me. So to be able to actually go back to school, I was hyped, okay? I was really excited. And for the first couple of weeks, those Mondays were oh my god, I loved it. I remember the teacher even, scheduled the Valentine's Day party around this, because the Valentine's Day party, it wasn't on a Wednesday. I think it was on a Wednesday, but they actually specially scheduled it for Monday. For our room specifically, just so I could celebrate Valentine's Day with everything. It was a really nice thing that she did. I enjoyed that party. It was great. Life was looking up for me. And then we have where this story actually takes place. Now, I don't remember the exact specifics of the day, but I do remember it was a normal day. I went in on Monday, as I had been doing for the past couple of weeks, right? And the day started off normal. I went in there, I put my bag in my locker, I ended up sitting down in class, waiting for it to start, and class itself went pretty normal, you know, with standard stuff. You go in, you do your work, you get your work done, you go home, or go to next period, or whatever was happening in kindergarten. Like I said, I don't really remember exactly what happened back then, but the specifics I do remember. And I do remember, at some point during this day, I had gotten into a lot of trouble. If I had to guess, it was probably because I didn't get Student of the Month. I know back then, like, they would do shoutouts on the intercom, and they would do Student of the Month awards, and if I did not get that, I would fucking freeze up. Like, I'd become a human statue sitting in the chair, and I just would not do anything for the rest of the day. They'd have to, like, check on me to see if I'm still alive. Obviously, the teachers were being hysterical about that, and I would throw my fit, I'd cry on the floor. I actually remember one time, I smuggled a fucking marker. You wanna know why I smuggled a fucking marker? Because I wanted a shout-out. You know, I stole markers from my school, and then say, hey, I accidentally put this in my book bag, okay? Here it is. Can I get a shout-out later? It's like, I don't know why I cared so much about getting a shout-out over the intercom. Realistically, I think the reason why they never gave it to me is because I was such a fucking demon in school. They were never gonna give it to me. As a matter of fact, during my, like, year of detention, they actually, like, made something for me to hopefully get me to shut up. It was called, like, Office Student of the Month. Because I literally spent all of my fucking time in the office with me and this one kid who had, like, diabetes, so he had to go to the office every morning. I actually got to know him pretty well, and I hope he's doing okay now. But he had to take insulin, he had type 1 diabetes, and it was really depressing. But I would do that Student of the Month program, right? And eventually, I got it after showing up every day, doing all my work every day. I managed to get the Office Student of the Month pin, and I don't know what happened to that pin. I'm not even sure if I still have it, but if I do, it's probably going to be in, like, my school memorabilia, which is in a drawer that's, like, right next to me right now. I should probably go check and see if it's there. Hold up. I gotta go check. Like, I'm actually doing this right now. That is computer cords. That is more computer cords. That's what the fuck happened to the box? Did somebody clean it out? I mean, I have a composition notebook back here. What the fuck? That's stupid. Whatever, dude. And I'm depressed. I thought that was gonna be, like, a really cool thing that I could do is go see if I could, like, show that off for a video, but no. I guess I had to lose the token badge. But yeah, anyways, I got Office Student of the Month, and I think the teachers did that in hopes that if I got Student of the Month, I would stop complaining. And in all fairness, I did stop complaining. I stopped complaining for quite a long time about not getting Student of the Month because I managed to do it just by own hard work. It was actually really funny because I kind of complained about how rigged the system is against us and how nobody's ever going to really be able to do much. It's kind of random. And I mean, that kind of really translates well into my personality today, how I'm just like so adamant and wondering how the system is just like really fucked against us. But I'm getting off topic again here. You know, point is, I went into school this day and it was pretty normal starting off, right? And for whatever reason, over the intercom, they were announcing Student of the Month, and they were announcing shoutouts. And the names are called again and again and again and again and again, and you know what I don't hear? I don't hear my name. I was really fucking mad that I didn't hear my name. It was very depressing, honestly. Like, genuinely, I don't know what came over me, because like I said, you know, me getting Office Student of the Month really did stop me for a while, but I don't know if I woken up on, like, a shitty mood this morning or what. But after a while, I just fucking lost it this day. I don't know what happened. I broke down on the floor, yelling, flailing, screaming, and crying, and just being really upset over a whole bunch of stuff that I really shouldn't be upset over in the grand scheme of things. I don't really feel like you should be too upset over the fact that you don't get Student of the Month in a school when you're being a literal fucking demon. But, you know, I digress. This was me at 6 years old. I really don't know how else to describe it, but, well, anyways. So I get escorted to the principal's office, obviously. I mean, I feel like anybody in this situation would be. You can't exactly have a giant mental breakdown in the middle of school and expect to not be escorted to the principal's office. But I was escorted to the principal's office, and I had to go to detention. And, guys, I really didn't want to go to detention. So what I did is I kind of, like, fucking laid myself out on the floor like a sandbag. So I didn't have to, like, be... I thought that if I, like, made myself hard enough to move, that they just wouldn't move me to detention. They moved me to detention, guys. They grabbed me by their fucking legs. They had, like, a team of people, because I was like a little tiny kid at this point. I couldn't be more than like 3 feet high, so, or 1 meter for you international viewers, but I couldn't be more than like 3 feet high, right? And so what they did is they picked me up, and they just grabbed me by the legs, and they had like my head on one side, and I was being carried, and I was screaming, and I was crying, I was like grabbing onto walls and shit, like trying to make some tactical escape from my sentence to detention, which realistically, I don't know why I didn't go to detention. Like, if I had went to detention this day, like I said, this is a nexus point, if I had just went to detention this day, my life would probably be drastically different than it is now, and that is not exaggeration, because of what I'm about to say next. Now, I'm being dragged off to the office, and the principal is looking at me with, like, this very disappointed look of just, what the fuck, man? Why are we here again? And so, you know, because she knew what it was about. I would always get upset like this when I didn't get Student of the Month. It was really fucking dumb. And so she looked at me with this look of, like, dude, what the fuck? And she says something along the lines of, like, I'm so disappointed in you, Trilad, you know, you were doing so well, why do we have to go back to this? Well, you don't want homeschooled again, XYZ and XYZ, and I had enough. So she was, like, saying I was being ridiculous, which I was flailing around like a fucking toddler, and I was being ridiculous, and she wanted me to go into the office, but I wouldn't go in. I grabbed onto the fucking door frame, again, trying to clutch this thing for dear life, and I started kicking my principal. I just started wailing into my fucking principal with my little tiny child feet. And I just started, I beat the shit out of my principal. Because I didn't want to go to detention for not getting a shout out over an intercom. I just want you to take this in for a little bit. I beat the fuck out of the school principal at 6 years old because I didn't get a fucking intercom shout out. It is actually unreal. That lasts for all of 5 seconds. They would have said, good job, Trilad, and that would have been it. But no, I decided to initiate Operation Nexus because my dumbass didn't get a shout out. Now, obviously, you cannot beat up the fucking school principal and not have consequences. So I was escorted into a room, and I was sitting there. Like, this dark room of despair. If you've ever been in detention, you know what it's like. You're sitting in this office room in the back with the principal. I don't think the principal's staring at me. I actually think the vice principal came in because I literally beat up the principal. And so the vice principal is sitting there. Obviously, my mom was called. And for the next 30 minutes, I was just sitting there in, like, silence. I wasn't doing anything. I was just yelling and crying and sniffling. And eventually, my mother comes in, alright? And my mother was rightfully pissed at me. He's like, why the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? XYZ, you shouldn't be doing that. And her and the vice principal, and I assume the principal as well, went to another room and they had a talk. And I was left alone and the receptionist. And this talk went on for, I'd say, about an hour. And eventually, they come back to me and we kind of get briefed on what's happening. So basically, what happened is they ended up transferring me to a school for quote-unquote bad children. Now, this wasn't exactly like the normal bad school that you would get transferred to in the case of something like this. It was a school for people with very severe autism, like horrifically bad autism. We are talking not the kind of autism where you solve a math equation really well. We are talking about the type of autism where you can't sleep, you can't think, you can't eat, you can't, like, poop. That kind of autism. And I don't know if you can tell by me making this video right here, but I do not have that kind of autism, okay? And because of that, you know, it wasn't a good fit for me. But, you know, the principal was out of options because genuinely, no bad school would take me. So it was genuinely, I go to this school or I just get fucking expelled. You heard me right. I essentially got expelled from the first grade. How the fuck did I get expelled from the first grade? Genuinely, it makes zero sense. I don't know if it would describe how bad that is to you. Like, genuinely, getting expelled from the first grade is probably harder than winning the fucking lottery, alright? I've won $20 from a scratcher before. It's honestly not that hard. You just buy a bunch of $1 tickets until you get it, okay? I got expelled from elementary school. Not elementary school. I got expelled from first fucking grade. Wow! Like, I'm genuinely even appalled, like, thinking about this right now. The fact that I had managed to do something so bad that I got kicked out of first grade. It's wild. And it's not like I had any other choices either, because if I didn't go to this school, well, I'm just fucking schoolless, and my mother would not let that happen. So, you know what happened? You want to know what happened because of this? My teacher told me that I could stay the rest of the day I wanted to, but if after this, you know, I could fucking, I gotta go to this new school, and I fucking went home, and I gotta play video games. That's the icing on the cake. I beat the shit out of my principal. I got expelled, and then I went home and I played Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. Wow! Like, how do we manage to get here? And honestly, I'm gonna blame my mother for this. She should not have let me go home and play fucking video games. She should have grounded my ass, as any parent would. Like, that is not something that you should just do. Like, I fucking played video games! I went and played video games after I got expelled! I got rewarded! I got fucking rewarded for getting expelled from school, and I didn't care about the implications that this is a fucking canon event in my life. No, I just cared that I went home and I played fucking video games. It's like, it's so stupid, because this had proved to be like one of the most impactful decisions of my life. You know, deciding to kick my principal and beat the shit out of my principal that day led to me going through some crazy bullshit. I can't, I'm sorry. I'm so done. Fuck. But yeah, I went home and I played fucking video games all night after beating the shit out of my school principal. And you know, a week or two goes by, right? And I end up going to tour this new school, and let me tell you, I did not know that I was going to be settling in here for the next 10 years, right? That's a story time for another day. But all you need to know for this story is I went in there, alright? It was right before spring break. This was like second semester, almost fourth quarter at this point. I'm getting transferred to this little school. And the next 2 weeks, I just stay up and I play video games! It's so stupid! I face no consequences for my actions. Like, I went to a school where you did, like, way less work than you would do at a regular school. I played video games the entire time I was off. It was like a fucking mini vacation. And it's just like, as a kid, I thought this was like the fucking coolest thing ever. That I had got to do nothing, and I got to, like, just, it made me think, well, if I cry more, right, I just win because of that, you know? It's so dumb, because it's like, I should have been punished, and I wasn't. And that's the nexus point of my life, chat. That's the story of how I beat the fuck out of my school principal. I went to school one day, I got mad because of a shout out not being given to me, and I gotta go home, and I gotta play video games all day, and a couple weeks later, I go and tour the school. And yeah, that's it. That was the punishment. I just played video games and went to a different school. That was my punishment. That's like, that's just it. It's like, as a kid, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever, and like it horribly affected me later down the line. But you're not teaching a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old has to do less work, and they're gonna think that is amazing. You know, it's just like, fuck. Oh my god. Dude, I'm like so fucking done with all of this laughing. This is so dumb. Okay, so if I have a piece of advice to give to you all, don't do anything that I talked about today, okay? Don't beat the shit out of your principals. If you're a parent watching this, if your kid beats the shit out of a school principal, okay, don't let them play video games all day. They're not gonna learn shit from it, alright? I feel like if you want to teach somebody a lesson, you really have to, like, hammer it in. Like, I am very passive, and I believe in positive reinforcement, but genuinely, this is one of those cases where you just ground the kid. Okay, I committed a crime, okay? I fucking aggravated assault on my principal, and just nothing came of it. I gotta play video games for committing a crime. That's certainly something that my mother would agree with, but I digress. The second thing that I want to say, chat, please, I am begging you, okay, do not get upset over such little trivial things. I know in the moment you might really want to get mad or scream or cry or be crazy over something that you do, but I promise you guys, genuinely, it would not mean shit. Like, I want you to, like, listen to me right now, look into the non-existent eyes of my JPEG of my Minecraft character, listen to me. Okay? Don't do what I did. Don't get upset and start flailing around like a madman. Please, 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 just take the L. There will be other opportunities for shoutouts, and had I just, even then, even if I didn't, like, make that freak out, if I just taken the detention, my life would have been much different. Would it have been better? I don't know, but I sure as hell wouldn't have gotten expelled from the 1st grade. But, yeah, so if there's one thing to take away from this video, don't do what I did. Don't do anything that I did. Please punish your kids if they get expelled from school. And, don't beat people up, okay? That's really all I have to say. I don't really feel like there's more to this story. Like I said, there is, like, some issues that I have with my schooling, but that is not a story for today. That is a story for another day, and I will, leave that for later. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening to my yap session for the last, like, 20 minutes at this point. If you did enjoy, please do make sure to join the Discord, link in the description, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do not mind. Leave a like on the video, comment me, and tell you what you think it's about. I like this story. It was honestly one of the most iconic ones that I've had for a while, especially because it was such a nexus point. It was honestly really important for me to tell it. But apart from that, yeah guys, my name is TrentLad. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that cool jazz like I just said. Join the Discord, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, guys. Oh, and also thank you for 1,300 subscribers. I really appreciate it. I want to keep seeing the number go up, so again, subscribe. Okay, thanks. I'm so sorry I'm annoying. Okay, alright, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.